my life is good. I write was hood. I might get to it. Not out the woods, so bro, I got to do it. Be a monster. That's why my mantra is being onslaught. From the Lone Star to my lunch.
All right, what is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Jerice back at it with another episode of
Real talk.
And some of y'all probably like, what?
Another one.
Yup, another one. So today's topic, affirmative action and the Supreme Court ruling it unconstitutional because, yeah, it's got some black folks upset, rightfully so.
What do you mean by that?
Because these same said black folks know that they won't be able to get into certain institutions and certain places without affirmative action because their intelligence level and the culture will not allow them to get into these places based on their own merits. But I know a lot of you are like,
Oh my God! Wow.
he sounds like he hates black people. And to that I would say yes, because black people hate me. So without further ado, let's get into the cackling hens of the View.
The Supreme Court has upset a 45-year precedent, ruling it unconstitutional for universities to consider race in admissions.
Yeah, can we give the Supreme Court a round of applause? I literally don't see the problem. What you should get in based on SAT scores, ACT scores, grades in high school, clubs and activities that you did, community service, if they still count that, you know, those things. You shouldn't just get in based on, oh, well, you're black and you're poor, so you won't be able to get in based on anything else. So we have to let you in now because affirmative action says we have to. The people that this is going to hurt the most are people that look like Whoopi, people that look like me, and that's why people like Whoopi are so upset. Only difference between me is I don't run in the victimhood Olympics because reasons. But this is another reason why I'm glad I didn't go to college because I would probably have the same mindset.
Now, the 14th Amendment is supposed to promise equal protection. But if everyone was actually...
You are equal. You are equal. If you have the skills and the talents, chances are, unless you just have really bad luck, you're probably going to get into wherever you're trying to go, right? Because if an applicant has all the qualifications and another applicant doesn't, I promise you the applicant that doesn't isn't going to get in just because he's white. But that's the narrative they want to push.
treated equally, we wouldn't have had to put in affirmative action.
Yeah, and those days of needing affirmative action, they're gone, Whoopi. I hate to break it to you, but we don't need affirmative action anymore. I live in a red state. I got my first job in corporate America just recently, and lo and behold, still pretty black, but generally speaking, I talk properly. I'm pretty clean cut, pretty cute, pretty handsome, you know. I don't go around listening to rap music all loud. I don't smell like weed everywhere I go. My eyes aren't bloodshot red. So
We wouldn't have had to do it. Right. People wouldn't have had to march and begged and gotten hosed and all of these things that people did to just balance us out with everything else going on in the country. So
yeah, and literally, you just said it, Whoopi, past tense. People had to back in the day because guess what? The country was racist as hell at one point in time. I would argue that it's not racist anymore, not as much as the media wants you to believe, because, again, I stay in the South. I stay in a red state. But it's funny how the people that complain the most about racism are usually people that stay in blue states and people that stay in liberal cities. I find that pretty weird.
Really, nigga?
Yeah, for real. But, you know.
what is your, and I want to let you know the two people who have been bringing this for many years, who've been trying to get this gone. Edward Bloom and Abigail Fisher.
Yes.
Let me guess, they're Republicans and white.
You two have been trying to get rid of affirmative action. Why do we scare you?
Who are they? I don't know.
Why do we scare you?
Abigail Fisher claimed at the University of Texas at Austin, I believe, that
The fuck? Hold up. What's going on with her eye right there? Hold up.
at the University
What? Yo, what is going on with her eye right here? What the fuck?
of Texas at Austin, I believe, that
University of Texas at Austin, another blue liberal city, so she should be so open-minded, right? Because she's a lib or went to a liberal college in a liberal city.
her place in the class was taken by a black person, but we learned later that she just didn't have the grades.
Yeah. And the black person did.
And the black person did, and the legacies did, and
Yeah, I don't believe that because these type of shows literally just love painting a narrative.
the athletes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other
took
thing.
those places.
If they're going to get rid of why don't they get rid of this legacy stuff?
Amherst just did this, so
Yeah.
colleges are now.
Yeah, and guess what? They're trying to fight against legacy admissions too because it's mainly the Asians that are trying to fight against this because they know that they have to work 20 times harder to get the same amount of freaking what's the word I'm looking for? Acceptance or whatever into these colleges because the bar is set higher for them because people know culturally Asians study fucking ridiculous amounts of hours and that's their culture, right? But because the bar is set so low for black people, we just need to let them in just based off the fact that they're black. And yeah, they can't help themselves that their culture promotes twerking and rap music and disregards intellectualism, right? Again, that's why more black people can quote King Von and freaking Dr. Dre and and Lil Boosie as opposed to Thomas Sowell or Malcolm X, right? I guarantee you if I just go outside right now and ask just the average black person anything about what Malcolm X said at UC Berkeley, they'll be like, but they probably know what Boosie did last week. So.
Now shifting how they're going to account for this because people are not, it is not lost on the population that there are problems with the way people are treated in this country. So Amherst has shifted to getting rid of legacy. You're also seeing, I think, and Sonny, correct me if I'm wrong, I was reading on something in Texas where they kind of, without race conscious or whatever the term is, they took the top 10% of every school in Texas and allowed them automatic acceptance into the state schools. And what that did is, we already know communities are segregated. So you're accounting for every school, which means you then have a high percentage of black and brown communities who are automatically getting accepted. So there were ways around it that we're seeing people get creative with to make sure they're accounting for that.
I kind of resent the legacy thing because, you know, I was the first one in my family to go to college. And then I had cousins, obviously, who followed. But there was no Harvard graduate in my family. My father was a truck driver. My mother was a sewing machine operator.
Okay, and that's because of your parents' personal choices. So now, certain other people have to be screwed over because you're upset that your parents chose to be a truck driver and a sewing machine operator. Sorry. Luck comes into it, personal decisions comes into it. It is what it is.
You know, and so there was no legacy. That ticks me off a little bit.
And athletic was
but the other thing.
But at the same time, if your parents go to the school, graduate from the school, become alumni, and give money back to the school, I don't think that's 100% a bad thing that their kids, if they decide to go, that they get preferential treatment. It's not 100% a bad thing. Is it a little unfair? Kind of, sort of. But, it's not completely unfair.
I would say about this is that it plays into what they're talking on the right about post-racial society.
Uh-oh, there it is. There it is, what they're talking about on the right.
That we're living in, you know? Because we elected a black president, they think that racism is over. It's not. And that...
Wow. There we go. Obama. Oh, God.
That's what bothers me about this rolling back. And also what bothers me also is that what's next? Gay marriage? I mean, they want to get rid of abortion rights, which they practically have done. Now,
and now they're just bringing up all kinds of other crap into it, right? And a quick side note, right? With the whole abortion debate. I would definitely consider myself pro-choice, right? I think that these chicks should be able to go get abortions. But at the same time, I can be honest and say that most of these chicks that are fighting for the abortions, for them to be illegal, right, up to like whatever trimester, I can be objective enough and say, hey, most of these chicks that are fighting for these abortions just want to use it as birth control. Let's just be honest. Because they'll get with a dude. Dude won't want to be with them. Whoops, I'm pregnant. I don't want a kid. I'm about to make you a daddy. If you have this kid, I'm going to leave. I'm going to have the kid anyway. Okay, you have the kid. Dude goes ghost. She tries to put him on child support. I don't know. He's dodging the child support or whatever the case may be, or he can't even afford to pay that much in child support. And now she's on government assistance. Like, let's just be honest. That's how it goes, especially in our community. The black and brown community that you guys love to talk about so much.
Now it'll be gay rights.
Marriage equality was codified by the Senate, which is important because they can't pull it back now.
But they're trying to do something.
And the states are trying to target. But
Yeah.
can I say on this, I want to acknowledge that people are really passionate about this. And when something changes that's been in place for 40 years, that can be scary. I offer a bit of a different perspective. I think diversity is always a noble goal, and it's always something we should strive for, is representation. But I think that we need a system that looks at the full spectrum of diversity more. So, for example, a black student coming from a multi-millionaire family who everyone has an advanced degree in it, I wouldn't say should necessarily be given preferential treatment over a white first in his family student from Appalachia. Yeah, exactly,
Appalachia.
Joy, who has the grades as well. And what they do say in this ruling, and what we're going to have to watch is how it's implemented, it does not mean that students cannot, in their personal statements, talk about their lived experience with regard to race. I think that's incredibly important, and those are weighted more heavily now as many schools are forgoing looking at standardized tests. So I think there is still a way that the most vulnerable students and the most disadvantaged can have their case.
Okay, now we're just rambling. All right. So real quick, I'm going to just wrap it up like this, right? Leftists and liberals, especially these young black kids that want to go to these Ivy League schools, they're just upset because now they know that people who are more intelligent than them, people who have more merits than them, are going to get in now at a higher rate than them because, let's just be honest, in our culture, yeah, we don't really prioritize education and intellectualism. We prioritize gangbanging, twerking, athletics, and that's about it. We prefer all the aspects of entertainment as opposed to actually getting educated. And then when these people do go to college, they want to do something like, I don't know, political science or psychology, just to name a few. But, let these people tell it, oh, these poor black kids are going to be disenfranchised now that affirmative action is overturned, so now they'll never be able to get into these Ivy League schools. Like, shut the fuck up. But anyway, y'all, that's all I got for this one, man. Let me know what you guys think. Did I make a little bit of sense? Did I make a lot of sense? Did I make too much sense? Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. It's been a while since I said that, huh? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe while I'm on my way to 2K. A nigga's favorite video game. But it's been your boy, Jerice, back at it with another episode of
Real talk.
Getting Back Into This Thing, man. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. I'm out.
Yo, say you ball,